Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Community Works. I'm Bernadette Welsh, your host. Each one of our shows highlights a local nonprofit agency in our community. Our goal is to educate you, our viewers, about the great work that's going on all around us every day by local agencies and their supporters. When people help their neighbors, everybody benefits. The focus of today's show is an organization created out of the love of one sister for another. It's called Love Mom XOXO Foundation, Inc. And I am so proud to have Lori Nespoli here to talk about her foundation and her sister. Welcome to the show, Lori.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start off as we always do. How did your foundation come about? What is your mission?
Our mission is to assist children and families who suffered the loss of a parent or co-parent. And the reason that we started this foundation was because my sister passed away suddenly 3 years ago from a brain aneurysm. And she left behind 3 children who were 15, 17, and 19 years old. So the first year you're kind of in a state of shock. But as the sister and an aunt, I saw what her children were going through and the struggles of missing her, as well as our entire family. It was really just kind of like a bomb went off when she passed away. She was kind of the hub of our family. So everyone really, really suffered tremendously, and the children, of course, the most. So after kind of seeing what they had gone through, for the first year especially, we wanted to think of a way to help other children and families that went through the same loss. And actually, my therapist, who I was seeing at the time to deal with the grief, was the one who kind of incentivized me to do the foundation and taught me how to take a tragedy such as losing my sister and turn it into a positive and help others at the same time. My sister always helped people and was always there for everyone. She was very popular. She was a coach. She was a teacher, dance instructor. She did everything. She was very well known in the community. She stayed in the town that we were raised in. And so we just wanted to find a way to help other families through.
Excellent. And before the show, Lori, we were talking about the events that led up to your sister's losing her life. And we agreed, you and I, that maybe some of those details might help other families see the warning signs for somebody that might be having a brain aneurysm or something of that nature. So could you explain to our viewers, to be so kind, as to what led up to your sister's aneurysm?
Yes. It was Thanksgiving, and she was complaining that her neck hurt and she thought she slept wrong. So it was just sore, and she thought it was muscular. So it was a holiday weekend going into the Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and her family was busy. They always got their Christmas tree that weekend. So she was just kind of running around and, just basically kind of just thinking it was a muscle issue and that she had slept wrong. So, and then by Monday morning, she went to work and she just literally passed out at her desk and was taken to the hospital, and they said that she had a brain aneurysm that was dissecting, and that was basically the pain that she was having. So,
and she was trying to use Tylenol to make it tamp it down, and obviously that wasn't working.
Right. Or if it was a temporary fix. It wasn't solving the issue, So, I always tell people, listen to your body. And I know it was a holiday weekend. It was something so simple as just a neck ache, that, they probably would have said, oh, go home and take some ibuprofen or put some heat or ice on it. But, you really have to advocate, for yourself. And if you know your body, and if something doesn't feel right, especially after a couple days, just make sure that you get it checked.
Yeah, speak up for yourself. Yeah, and it's hard sometimes to even get doctors and nurses to listen. You almost have to really say, no, this is not normal for me. I don't have pain 3 or 4 days in a row.
Yes.
Never happens. Please, let's do some tests.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Absolutely.
good. Very good. That's a very good point. Maybe we've helped some people today by knowing that they need to do that.
Yes.
They need to advocate for themselves. All right, so now we are talking about helping the children who survived this tragedy. How exactly, what are some of the things you do to help children deal with this kind of loss?
So we are activity-based. We don't do anything therapy-based or therapeutic, no counseling. We strictly give a way for the families and the children to be able to enjoy events and activities. You know, a lot of them go down to a single family income, so they don't really have the means to do all the things that they used to do. That's for one. For two, I had heard a couple of times, because originally we started out with more of a financial help purpose.
Right.
No one really looked for that or turned to us for that. And I started hearing that the children kind of they feel a little ostracized by their peers, society. You know, it's very difficult when you have two parents and then you go down to one. Yep. There's a lot of animosity, I guess. You know, there's just...
Would you say, Lori, that these people just start feeling uncomfortable because at first it was like the moms will all to get together or the husbands and wives would get together and do things. Now all of a sudden that's not there and people get weird. You know what I mean? They don't know what to do, and their response, unfortunately, is to just back off and say, we're not going to invite this child over because we might say the wrong thing, and then they get mixed up.
Right. Or the children, you know, can get a little jealous of other children that have both parents, you know, and then suddenly lose one. So just knowing that that whole part of it was also, you know, something that they experienced, that's why we kind of moved more into the activity base, where we kind of created this own little community within the foundation that the children all can be around each other. They don't really talk about what happened. I mean, we don't tell them that they can't,
right?
But they just don't, and they just know why they're there. They know that they have something in common with the other children that are there, and it's very unique and dynamic. You know, the first couple of events that we did, you know, we had some smaller children, and then my nieces and nephews were a little bit older, but the children just bond like instantly. Like it was really sweet, you know,
and
to
what
see.
Are some of the things that they're doing together when they're hanging out? Are they playing games or puzzles or just...
No, we did a cake wars with all the children at one of the mom's houses, you know, where we teamed up one of the little ones with one of the older children. And, you know, that was a really fun thing that we did with them. We do little, I don't know if you want to call them field trips, but, you know, we did a day at the beach last year, and then we'll do bowling or we'll go ice skating. The girls, we all do the Mud Girl Run. So we're not only doing it together as a foundation, as an activity, you know, for the children, but we're also supporting an organization that helps to fight breast cancer.
Oh, okay.
So we're kind of doing both. So, but that's a great, you know, we kind of do like team building stuff, I guess, but it's not a team. It's, you know, the children in the foundation. And some people will come to all the events. Some will only come, you know, once in a while. Some we've only seen once. Yeah. So it's, you know, we don't pressure anybody. Or
do you send out, like, do you have an email list and you send out notices, or is there, so that everybody knows, well, next weekend we're going to be doing this, if you want to come? Yes. You're welcome.
Yes, we have the mailing list. We tell people that they can go on and subscribe as a member, and then they'll be added to the list so that they can see what's coming up. Right now we're in the works of doing the week of August 19th, like a little half-day mini camp, where every day we'll go to a different place for a different activity. You know, all the camps pretty much end.
Yes,
so
they do.
Now, so we want to be able to help the parents out, you know, the surviving parent.
Yes.
You know, from 9 to 12, you know, we're going to go to a farm, you know, one day, do an art event the next.
I bet you, too, if the surviving parent has to go to work, it's, even though it's the summertime.
Yeah,
and
they
then what? You know, and daycare and other care is so expensive.
It is, yeah.
So you organizing these activities, it seems to me that's a wonderful help.
Yeah, and we do it, too, to kind of, like, any of the events that we plan, the parents are more than welcome to come, but it's also an opportunity for them to do a drop off where they can just have some time to themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, the parents come because they like being around,
Right.
and being involved in the activities because they are fun. And then I've done activities just for the parents as well.
Oh,
So
that's
that the parents
interesting.
could,
Yeah.
go out. We went to a comedy show, just to give the parents a night out, and
Yeah.
they tend to talk more amongst each other
Yeah, we were
than
going
the children.
to talk about that because we were talking about the kids not talking about the loss, but the adults have a better time with it. They get. Why do you think that is?
I think because they're so stressed out and trying to navigate this new life that I think it helps them to talk to other people that are going through it to see how they're kind of navigating it, or just to feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
Just like even the kids, even though the kids don't talk about it, they know, Joey over in the corner lost his dad, so I think just the parents, it's nice for them to just be around other people where they don't have to feel like someone's whispering about them, or
Sure. And not even be embarrassed or hurt about that the person they're talking to understands exactly where they're coming from.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Okay, we were talking a little bit about the foundation raising some money and how that might be a financial benefit, even though that's not the real thing that they're asking for. But let's talk about that. I mean, we talked about before the show about scholarships, and of course you have to pay for some of these events.
Yes.
So how does the foundation help financially?
So we do contribute to GoFundMe's if we see someone that lost a parent, in the Connecticut area. We've also had people that have reached out, that they knew someone who spouse passed away, and, they're in need of meal cards or gift cards or something, especially when it first happens.
Yeah, when it first happens.
Yeah. So we do that right off the bat. But now we're starting to get into the scholarship because we found that people really weren't taking advantage or asking for financial help. They're more liking the activities and just being around other people. So, but I do want to do something to make sure that, the foundation continues on, and the scholarship, college is very expensive.
Oh, jeez.
And, like I said, most of these families go down to a single income household. And I just feel like a scholarship, my sister being a teacher, education was very important to her. And I would just, my ultimate goal for the foundation was to get into the scholarship fund arena. So, and now, we did the golf tournament, and that was strictly to raise money to go towards the scholarship fund. So we're hoping, to build that up and continue, and we'll probably open it up next year, 2025. And then I hope to continue it for years and years to come.
Once people find out what you're about, they're on board. All they need to know is when.
Yes.
So that's really great. And we mentioned a little bit about the kids giving back to the wider community, supporting breast cancer. But can we talk a little bit more about how are the kids getting involved with helping others and then helping themselves? So how does that work?
It's the kids love doing things for the community and volunteering, even though it'll end up being a group activity for us that they're all together. They're also utilizing their time to volunteer in the community. So one of the moms approached me a couple of years ago about doing Christmas caroling at a senior home, senior home. So we got the kids together and we went to the home and we sang Christmas carols, and the home loved it. They had such a great time with it, and the kids loved it. So we started doing, more events, that involved give backs.
Give backs.
Yes,
yeah.
which they also, participate in. So we just did a food drive, a couple of weeks ago for a local pantry. We actually did the cake wars at another senior senior assisted living.
Assisted living,
yeah. And they loved it. I mean, we had 10 people sign up, and everybody started coming out of their rooms and coming into the room
When they
because they
heard the
wanted
singing,
to
when they heard the music,
participate.
yeah,
Well, for the cake
yeah,
wars,
yeah.
you know,
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, I kind of expected because we baked like 15 cakes and we had all the stuff to frost it and decorate it. So
Oh, how
everybody had a
cool.
different theme and we did secret ingredients. So I really thought the older people would just kind of sit there and watch the kids, you know, because they love being around little kids
Yeah,
too.
sure. Yeah.
So, but the old people actually ended up taking part in the cakes where a couple of the kids got upset because, you know, they were taking the spatulas and they wanted to decorate it a certain
Oh,
way.
that's
And
so funny.
yeah, and even the supervisor, you know, at the place was like, you know, some of these people don't even come out of their rooms. The fact that they're
Wow.
like, you know, coming out and they want to participate and they're, you know, yeah, they just had a great time.
You know, it just shows that human interaction. And
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about before the show about kindness.
Yes.
And how kindness just brings out such good things in people. And so decorating a cake or singing Christmas carols or
Mm-hmm.
raising money. And then also, don't you think, Lori, that the children grow in a way that their parents, the lost parent, would want them
Oh,
to
yes,
grow?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Giving back is kind of cool.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
There it is.
And it just gives them a purpose, I guess, too. It helps them, you know, with that to, you know, kind of preoccupy them or take their mind off of it and then feel good about themselves. You know, we do a great event with Bushy Band in Seymour. It's a martial arts studio. And Master John's been great. He does this unleash my inner superhero with the kids, you know, to just kind of build them up and their confidence because we have heard that there is some bullying that goes on to children who lost parents.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
So
so
sad.
that's why we're so all about the kindness and spreading kindness and
Yeah.
doing things in the community. You know, you don't know what someone is going through, you
No,
know,
you
that's
don't.
sitting next to you.
No, you don't.
And, you know, it just breaks my heart that these kids are already going through so much.
They're vulnerable, and yet somebody else is making them feel worse.
Yeah, so he does a great event for the kids. We're going to be doing another one with him. He's been
Cool.
very supportive of the foundation and all of our activities, you know, has been the town as well.
That's
So,
just so super duper, super duper. Okay, so now we come to the time of the show. We're going to show people some pictures.
Okay.
Because pictures say, you know, give us 1,000 words. It helps a little. So, Victor, what do we have in terms of? Okay, so Lori, what are we looking at here?
okay, so this was our banner from our last year's Build a Backpack Townwide Scavenger Hunt. So what we do is we give out school supplies, but we tie it in with a scavenger hunt that goes throughout the whole town. So we did this last year. We had different level sponsors for the event. That was more of a fundraiser for our foundation. This year, we're not doing it as a fundraiser. We're doing it just with the town for the community.
Okay,
so,
cool.
yeah, so, you know, we do have sponsor space available, you know, for a few people that want to sponsor it, but we're opening up table and tent space to basically anyone who
Yep.
serves the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we have next? Oh, here's some. Is that a mom and her daughters?
Yeah, that is a mom. One of our foundation families. That's a mom and her two daughters. That was at the Mud Girl
Okay.
run that we did a couple of months ago.
And what is this?
We did a bowling outing. So that was also the children.
Okay.
We do, you know, awards and stuff. So that was the Cake Wars event that we did at the retirement or
Okay,
keep
so that's
saying
one of the
retirement.
seniors.
Assisted living.
Assisted living.
Yeah, and that's actually my daughter who volunteers
Oh,
a
how
lot,
sweet.
and her
Is she one that
cheerlead.
has Seymour on her sweater?
Yeah, she's a big cheerleader. So
Oh, she
her
was
cheerleaders
adorable.
groups, they all volunteer a lot for the activities and community, and then the other one is another foundation family daughter.
And this
And
is your
that
golf
was-
tournament.
Yes, that was our golf tournament. Those are my two nieces and my nephew who lost their mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is a give back.
Yes, that was a community give back food drive that we did a couple of weeks ago. Jenny in the blue, she runs the Little Skokerat Pantry in Seymour. So it's basically a shed that actually one of my closest volunteers, Erica's husband, just redid it for her. She's had the shed It just sits kind of on the road of her property.
Yeah.
And she fills it with food, and anyone can go, no questions
Wow.
asked.
Wow.
You know, to take it. She has all fruits, vegetables, gardens.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we actually did a community food drive for her new pantry.
Okay.
And I'm also on the All In for Seymour with her.
And who are these beautiful people?
These are my immediate family. That's aunts,
Okay.
uncles, parents.
Wow. Everybody that loved Lynn, right?
Yes, this is how my family, we travel in packs. We do everything together. My sister's house was always the center of holidays and
Yeah.
everything, you
So
know.
you want to keep that going.
It was a real, you know, we never really lost anybody suddenly like
Yeah.
that. You know, most, you know, got older and passed, you know, from,
Sure.
you know,
Or
normal older
or
causes.
you know that somebody's sick and that you have
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, but I mean, you know.
Oh, that's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
And that's your sister with the white ribbon?
Yes.
Yes.
That's my sister. So that was my niece's. It was her senior year when my sister passed away.
Oh.
So that was senior night. Gina was a big cheerleader and sports person, and you know, it was really hard for her 'cause being her senior year.
Yeah,
you know,
that
she had a lot
tough.
my sister was helping her fill out college applications,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's just something that we give to the families
Okay.
that we
Sent them
actually
a
make
keepsake
ourselves.
box, yeah?
Yeah, so the box on the right, the inner box, is something that it's basically you can use it to put cards, notes, messages. So we have one at my sister's grave, you know, right at the cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, birthdays, all that stuff, because it's like you still want them to, you want to acknowledge them on
Yeah.
those occasions, you know.
And not let it pass.
Yeah, and-
Unnoticed or uncelebrated, yes.
Right. Yeah. So
understand
that's,
that.
you know, and then I empty it out periodically and I put it in the bigger box and
Yep.
just keep it. And then someday I'll give it to the kids and,
Yep.
you know, they can open it and their kids, you know, my sister and my nephew always said like she would have been the best grandma, you know, and it's just so sad that she never got the chance to be.
Yep.
So I want to make sure with this foundation that even though my sister's grandchildren didn't know her or never met her, they will still know who she was.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
She will
so-
never be forgotten.
Yes.
And you're making sure about
Yes, so that would be great that they could share it with them. That is
the
my
fam-
mom, my dad,
Yep.
my brother, and my sister.
that. Okay. And, oh, this is a beautiful picture.
Yeah,
This is an
that's-
older picture, is it not?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
sister loved children. I mean, if there was a baby in the room, she was grabbing
Yeah.
the baby. That's actually her nephew.
Wow.
With my two nieces, my other nephew, my brother's.
Well, those
son.
pictures are really beautiful, and they do tell us the story of the love your family has
Yes.
for each other, and that the fact that you're doing the show today, Lori, to not only remember Lynn but to help other people.
Yes.
I think that's wonderful. So I thank you so much for doing this. Okay, so how are members of the wider community supporting your organization? I mean, I noticed M&T Bank and there are other things on there. So do they just hear about what you're doing and then they say, how can we help?
Basically, so I work with the first selectman of Seymour, who's been great. She's been a huge supporter. I mean, we have, you know, there's a lot of nonprofits in our area. There's Seymour Pink, which is huge.
Yep.
Project Purple, you know, there's quite a bit. You know, they're on a much bigger scale than we are. But,
Yeah.
you know, Seymour in the Valley is very supportive of all the nonprofits and all the assistance that's available to people. So, you know, she's been very good about if I just bring up one idea or something for the community, especially if it promotes kindness or anti-bullying, that she just runs with it. And
Wow.
you know, which is great because it ties into our foundation. And you know, I've developed good relationships with the businesses in town. I'm in the All In for Seymour group, which has some nonprofits and some businesses. So I've gotten to know them, you know, which is how M&T has been a great supporter.
For sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so I see how that works. Okay, so moving on, I know you're going to have another backpack on August 10th.
Yes.
And they're going to do that, and you've got the benches, you've got the buddy
the buddy
benches,
benches.
you got that going on.
Yeah.
But let's not forget what folks will find on your website, because we're going to show folks later on the address for the website. Well, what will folks find there, and can they make a donation? Can they do the click and make a donation on the website?
Yes. They can make a donation directly to the scholarship fund if they would like. There's a separate link just for that, or they can make a general donation. We do fundraisers. You know, we try to keep the fundraisers fun and different. You know, so I mean, the golf tournament was one that is pretty common.
Yes.
But it was one that we needed to do to start the scholarship fund. So, but we've done pierogi making, which was a sellout. People love that.
Yeah.
We've done comedy shows, and all the families in the foundation can attend any fundraiser free of charge as well.
Right.
So
right. You're not asking them for money; you want to give them.
Right.
Yeah.
But they like to come, even some of the families, they volunteered at the golf tournament, even the kids, we put them on a hole. We had flamingo, little state flamingos and games for the participants to play. So they enjoyed that. So we do the fundraising, and like I said, we try to do things that are a little different and outside the norm.
Yeah.
For the fundraisers. So
I think you're doing a really good job with that.
Yeah, we got another one cooking for the winter that
so what are you doing
about.
What are you doing in the winter? What are you going to do?
We're actually going to do like a charity feud. So
a charity feud?
Yeah. I like to help other nonprofits as well.
Yes, you were telling me about that. Yeah.
So even the Build a Backpack, in order for an exhibitor to have a table at the event, the only thing that we ask is that they bring something on the Seymour Food to Kids wish list, for Shannon. She's doing lunches and breakfasts for the kids in Seymour, who are who have food insecurity issues. And that's what the All In for Seymour is we address affordable housing, food insecurities, things like that. So,
well, Lori, I wish we had more time to talk about all the other wonderful things that you're doing, but we are running out of time. Well, I think I've learned a lot, and I hope you have too, about listening first to your body and knowing if something's going wrong and advocating for yourself. And the second thing I learned is how Lori's love for Lynn has expanded into a community organization that is helping countless people. So I hope that you've been moved by Lori's story, by the Love Mom XOXO, which is, of course, how Lynn used to sign her cards, which is why we have that. We forgot to say that.
I know.
So thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time. I'm Bernadette Welsh, your host for Community Works.